fate decided.
Let's get this party started.
Craven something scary.
Hello, Sydney.
KillJoy Jake.
Don't you swear at me, you little shit! Don't you ever raise your voice at me! I am your mother!
Nightwatch Zone.
What's the boogeyman?
As a matter of fact, it was.
Get up!
The collective has spoken.
Yo, what's up? Lethal Collective Mondays, Q&A Mondays, that is. Guys, we're here. We're ready to rock. And we're full spoilers. Anything and everything that we have ever wanted to talk about as far as Scream 6 is concerned. All right.
Yeah, so if you have not seen the movie yet, do not watch this stream. But we appreciate your support.
Right. That's a good point. Yes. Yeah. That's a very good point.
This is your last warning.
Hit that like button on the way out.
Right. Right.
Yes.
Please do. Yeah, so if you have not seen the movie, then you're definitely going to be dealing with a lot of spoilers here today. And for all you guys in the live chat, a blanket hello. And also, as always, leave your questions for us. We'll try to get to as many as we can. And let's see what we got going on here, guys. We got Blucka, we got David. What's up, guys? We got Russell, of course. Russell's in the chat. Lisa's in the chat. All right. Vale, what's up? Good to see you guys. And we've got Polar saying, yo. What's up? Good to see you. Gage, what's up, Gage? All right. Saw it a third time. This time in 4D.
Nice.
Right. Nice. That is awesome. 17 Ninjas, what's going on? Good to see you. Look at this. Vale.
Core 4.
I guess we are the Core 4, right? Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Hey, Steven, let me say something real quick, because the first time I heard that term was when you had said it.
Yep. Thank you, Knight. In fact, I watched your review video earlier, and I appreciated the shout out you gave me in your video. That was very cool.
Yeah.
In fact, I thank you, man. I did. I coined it like when it was probably February of last year, and I remember telling you guys on a collective episode, I said, guys, I've got a phrase. I'm going to start calling them from now on. That's called the Core 4.
Right.
I just got to say to everyone watching too, thank you all, because my inbox has blown up from people saying, oh my gosh, they're calling him the Core 4 in the movie. Like, I can't tell you how many messages people said, dude, we were sitting in the theater and they said Core 4, Chad. And they're like, oh my gosh, you've seen Craven's channel. So I don't know if they have or not, but it seems it's pretty much just pretty on the nose, man.
Yeah, no doubt. But yeah, I remember when you first came up with that, and I was like, well, that sounds pretty cool. And then the first time I heard it in the movie, I just had this chuckle. It was great, man. Good stuff.
I was like, what? The Core? No, Core 4, Chad. Yeah.
Right. Yes,
that was a fun moment. Thanks for acknowledging that, Night. I appreciate it, buddy.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And what's up to the general? The general's in the chat too. What's going on? All right. So, guys, let's start off with something here. Fate, we'll start with you. Let's get into spoilers. As far as what we want to talk about that we could not talk about on Friday night.
All right. Well, where should we start? Just generalized rundown, and then we can talk specific points.
Yeah, I think we should do some general rundown, and obviously we're gonna talk about things like the actual killers and the motive and the reveal and stuff like that.
And we can kind of section it off, but generalize without getting too winded here, because I could go on for a while. So now I can actually express some of the points on my dislikes for this film. Look, I liked the film as a whole. I thought it was a really good film. I thought it was a really fun time. I enjoyed it as a whole. There was a lot of things that I just had glaring issues with. One, everybody was superhuman in that film. Nobody could be killed in that film unless you like literally decapitated them. It was crazy. It did have some solid kills, like the Anika death was like ooh, like that was one of those like ooh moments. That drove me crazy. The whole Chad, like everyone surviving. We had like 3 actual deaths. Like we had like the guys in the bodega. That doesn't count to me. Like those are just throwaway characters.
You had not count
because it's not.
It's a murder.
It's not it's a kill, yes, but it's not the core characters. I'm talking about like you have like 15 characters and half of them survived. Like that drove me crazy because Scream 5. The whole point of Scream 5 was to establish the whole allure of like nobody is safe. Now, obviously, Sam is safe because she's the main focus. We get that, but you go and you establish what you established in Scream 5 and basically just erased it all in Scream 6 by just keeping everyone alive. You had so many things. So, for example, Mindy gets like brutally stabbed in the train, and then just like bounces back at the end of the film like nothing happened. Like she's been chilling in her apartment all day. You had Tara, who got stabbed like literally several times, and she's just vibing. She's chilling. They're just sitting on the stage, just laughing and relaxing and having a good time. They tell Kirby's literally dying. They run over, tell Kirby, "Don't worry, I'm gonna get help." Spend 30 minutes killing off the killers. Come back and then just sit down on the step. Fuck Kirby, and just like chilling. And then Kirby pops up like nothing. The big reveal at the end. You had to make it Richie's family. Like I liked that there were 3 killers. I liked that there were, that it was like a family thing. I did like that element of it. But you had to tie it to Richie. You couldn't have just done a family killing to some other degree. It had to be Richie's family. It's just like I could go on for hours about just the flaws and issues in this film. There was a lot that I was really disappointed in. I wanted better writing in. I just felt like some stuff was very lazy. The film, though, as a whole, I did enjoy the film. The third act kind of fell off for me. I thought this was like 2/3 of a very well-structured movie. And then that third act, I just thought kind of went a little run. It almost felt rushed. You got to the shrine room. And then once you got to the shrine room, it was like, go, 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 go. And it which is fine to an extent, but I would have liked a little more. Oh, Sam with the pepper spray, right? You have the pepper spray, and then she just never uses it again. She's talking about the taser. I'm sorry, the taser. Yeah, she tases the guy in the nuts, talks about the taser, and then just never uses that again going into the third act like that. Why did you show that? Why did you establish that scene?
That should have been set up for something.
Yeah, to not have that.
Okay.
There was a lot of things like that. Again, I don't want to take, because I could go the whole hour just talking about all the little things that they set up and just never delivered on, which was disappointing. But again, I thought the pacing was fine. I thought they allowed things to marinate, which was really good. I thought that the character development was better in this film than it was in Scream 5. I thought just the general tone of this film overall was a lot better than Scream 5. Again, I don't hate the movie. A lot of people feel like, oh, you just hate the movie, you're hating. No, they're criticisms. Like, you can't tell me none of that stuff didn't happen. Like, all of that stuff really happened. But overall, I thought it was a much better structured film that I enjoyed. I have it up there as probably my second in the franchise next to 96. It was really well done. But I can't get over those glaring holes from just somebody that does this for a living. Now, if I was just some fan, then this would probably be my favorite movie ever. Like, my girl, people I know love this movie. But as somebody that, critiques this and talks about it and dives into it, it's just all these things really stood out to me that were just like really disappointing. And I'm sure being a YouTuber, I'm sure it ruins the experience to an extent. And that might be a fair point. But in general, they were very glaring to me. But anyway, again, I liked it. What about you, Jake?
To me, I feel like this was like the Jason Lives of this franchise. Like this was the first movie that decided to be like, hey, let's, all those things that we just haven't done in the past. Let's just say fuck it. Let's lean into all the things that this franchise is slowly falling into anyways. Big criticisms of like Friday the 13th Part 5 is that it's like, well, they tried something new, but they played it too straight. It's like, but it's so goofy. It feels like it's not supposed to be that goofy, but it is, 6 just leans right into that. And this movie kind of does the opposite in a weird way. Like the franchise has always been very campy. So let's lean into the more darker side of Scream. And I think we did that just excellently here. This movie is opening the door to crazier films in the future. I think all new kinds of ghost faces and scarier ghost faces specifically, which is something I've just always felt like they could improve upon. So I'm happy that we're finally doing that in this franchise. I know I've been talking about it all weekend, so I'm just gonna sound like a broken record, but I'm just so happy to finally have a movie like this where I'm like, I'm terrified of this. This is the first Ghostface I feel like I'm actually really terrified of before the third act, and I think that's really interesting. I don't know. To me, it's easily my favorite sequel. Does it have its little issues? Yes, but it's nothing that bugs me. Like the other movies have like big stretches that are like, this is just too much. This is too far into the camp. I can't get jiggy with it, as they say. But there, like Fate, I do agree with you. There are like little tiny things here and there, but it's nothing the Scream franchise hasn't done before. You know what I mean? Like Dewey has survived even crazier shit in the past. Like same thing as Chad, pretty much. And I think that it's like, yeah, sure, that's wild, but they did the same thing in Scream 2 or Scream 4 with Gale. It's like this is nothing new for the franchise.
Or in Scream 3.
Like yeah, exactly. Hell, Scream 1 too. You can make the argument. I mean. These characters have always, in this franchise at least, have been able to survive a bunch of bullshit, and I'm just kind of like, I don't let it bother me. I think about Evil Dead 2013 and how like that movie wouldn't have been as fun if people just died from regular things, like chopping your arm off. You would die from that. You would die from the blood loss in 5 minutes,
But there's a difference between supernatural style films and Scream, which has done a really good job for the most part on realism. Yes, it's had some unrealistic moments. It is a movie. It is movie logic. This one just felt like it really piled on that, in my opinion. Like, yes, there are
it added to the scenes though. It was a sacrifice of realism to make the scenes more terrifying, I think. And that's why I'm okay with it. Like this had genuinely some of the scariest scenes from the whole franchise because of that. And that's why I'm like, I'm all right with that. Like Chad living, that is a bit, that's a bit much. I mean, he had every vital organ stabbed, and it's like, okay, he's back. But I love Chad, I'm like, I'm really the other big thing about it too, why I'm okay with it for now, because I'm waiting to see 7. But if they got to have an emotional death in 7, like they have to. If they don't, then I'm like, okay, now I take issue with that. I feel like this movie was really setting up the core 4 to be like legacy status characters. I didn't feel that way about them after 5. I do now though. Like now I'm like, okay, I like these characters enough where if they died, I'd be very upset. Like Chad at the end of this, I was like, no way. I'm so sad. I really thought they killed him, and I'm happy they brought him back, but they better kill at least somebody in the next movie, or then it's going to be a problem, in my opinion. So I'm okay with it for now, but kill somebody next time, or what the hell are y'all doing? This is a slasher movie, don't forget. So I do have my little tiny issues with it, but it's nothing as bad as some of the other sequels, in my opinion. I really loved it. It's a fucking blast from start to finish. If you're a Scream fan, you'll love this one.
All right. How about you, Steven?
Yeah, there we go. I'm mute my mic. That helps. So I overall, we're just basically doing overall right now, right? Overall.
Yeah, overall.
Yeah, overall thoughts. I like the movie. I asked, in the same way I handled Scream 5. I'm not gonna rank it yet in terms of where it is in my rankings for the franchise. It's just too early. I need to see more, see it more times. But I will say this, that I enjoyed the movie more than Scream 5. So worst case scenario, this movie is leapfrogged over 5. So 5 still remains as my least favorite. This had a lot to like to me as a Scream fan. Lots to enjoy. And I'm going to keep it kind of high level for now, but we'll get into other, breaking down the sections. But I will say that the opening showed us right away that radio silence, I'm going to say, heard our wishes and to some degree, as far as saying, you did a good job with the love letter to Wes. You kind of handled that with maybe even too much care in 5. And now you finally like opened up a little bit, let us see your style. And I enjoyed that from the opening. The opening was, and we'll get to the opening. I have more to say in a minute, but they showed us from the beginning on it that things are different. They are listening. They're, and again, not that they're have to make our movie, because that's not how it works. But I'm just saying, we got to see what we all wanted to see, I think, which was something different. And we'll talk about whether we liked it in a minute. But I did. I enjoyed it. I thought it was a really good movie. There's certainly a lot of suspension of disbelief you're going to have to do, as we talked about just a minute ago. You guys did, especially when it came to Chad and even really Ethan, if you ask my opinion as well. But there's a history there, and it's never been a big deal to me. I have no problem seeing Jill kill people in the way she did in 4, and I'm okay with it in 5. But it's just as long as you go in there kind of like where I'm kind of like, I'm trying to like say I'm in the middle of Fate and Jake. So I think like I'm trying to hit that sweet spot between the two of them is where I'm at. I think is where I'm at. Maybe leaning more towards Jake's side, not like personally, just your view, because I also am okay with letting some things go. I think that some folks may not. And Chad being the most grievous of all of them.
Yeah.
I'm like, the kill was wonderful. It was so cool.
It was really good.
It was.
But you know what made it really cool also was when they did it, I immediately felt sad because I'm like, oh, he's gone. He's dead. It's over. And when he came out in the stretcher and pulled us a Dewey 3.0, I guess now, I was like, oh man, you just that whole attack scene it's still awesome, but it lost some of its shine because the guy lived. And I love Chad, but one of those meat twins had to go, guys. And we've said it here many times on the show, and I said it as recently as last week's show, I think a week before, that if Radio Silence and James and Guy, if they killed Dewey to make a statement that no one's safe, if they don't kill a Core 4 member, Kirby or Gale, then they really almost deconstructed that suspense that they started to build from 5. Because, remember, guys, we said this, if they don't kill one of them, then now they're just the new OG and they're safe. And I honestly, at this point, I don't even know if Lynn and them are going to die in 7. I really don't even know if I should even expect. I'm not going to expect it. But anyway, I felt like Mindy or Chad had to go. And that whole double stab was amazing. But you got to follow through and just kill them. If you're going to do that, whoever that is, you got to keep following through with it in my book. Again, this is probably nitpicky. And I do like Chad, like you said, Jake, and you both of you. I like the guy, I like the character, I like Mason. So it's not that he's alive that I don't want to see him. It's just because it just detracted from that moment. So when I watch that kill next time, I'm gonna be like, oh, that's so awesome. Yeah, it is, but I hate that feeling. But overall, guys, I'll leave it also at 9 as to say. I said overall it's a really good movie. I liked it more than 5, and overall, to me, the good qualities outweighed the bad qualities, if that makes sense. So the scale tips for me on this being a good movie over missing the mark overall.
All right.
Night?
Well, I'm gonna give my quick comments real quick, and then we do have a couple of super chats. So I enjoyed the film. Here's the bottom line: when I walked out of the movie theater, I was excited about what I saw. I was excited to get a chance to talk with it about it with you guys, much more than I was for five. Now the question is why? Why did I enjoy it more? First of all, I thought that I cared about the characters more, and that includes Sam and Tara. Mindy and Chad. In the first movie, there was obviously a lot of focus on the sisters, and everyone else was kind of sidelined. Even, you know, um, Courtney and Nev. David obviously had a great half of a movie until what happened to him. So in this movie, I thought what was really cool is I actually cared about the sisters. They actually took some time to have some heartfelt moments to develop them a little bit. Um, I enjoyed the whole idea of the core four. I agree, Chad should have died. I think that he should have just died. Now, here's the thing: if they had done this movie for five, then that would have been kind of cool. In other words, to build this core four up in that first movie, and then in the next movie, one of them got to go. That's what should have happened. But unfortunately, and again, five is not a crap movie to me. I just think there were a lot of missed opportunities. But if they had built up these characters, in five like they did in six, I think that would have been like, could you imagine, going into
and then killing one of them,
and then killing one of them? Because I don't know about you guys, man, but these four characters, I was really digging them. I really, really was.
This was the Knight, to your point, dude. This was the movie to establish that about them. I think that's why we didn't kill any of them. I really think we're waiting until the next one. Like, I'm holding that. I could see the setup. You know what I mean? I could see exactly what they were doing with this movie. I'm so set on the next one. One of the core four is gonna die, if not two of them. So
I totally could see that too, man. I totally could.
But why have the scenes the way that they did? If that's like, I'm all for that, establishing them in this film. They did it. I thought they did a much better job doing that. But why have a scene like that with Chad specifically? Why?
It was awesome.
You mean why have him survive?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, no,
this is why I think they did it.
But I'm saying, if you wanted to keep him alive,
Make
like if he got
be a victim there.
Yeah, like have somebody else be a victim there, like kill Kirby or something like that, to where that death, it means something, it hurts, it's emotional, it does everything it's supposed to do, and then have Chad, whatever, get knocked out or something, and he's tied up, and he's like, you know what I mean, like something like that, like it's like, why
they should have killed. This is a hot take, and I hate even saying this. They should have killed. Gale.
Don't say it. Oh, okay.
I'm saying it. I'm saying it. They should have killed Gale. And as horrible as that would have been, I would have been so upset. But it would have worked. It would have worked for the scene. It would have worked for the movie.
It would have worked in this because, man, she gave a hell of a fight, and she was not utilized here. Okay, I'll finish my thing too. I don't think Gale was utilized as well as she could have been, and just as a fan, as much as I would have liked. Now, granted, that tip the scales to the core four, and especially Sam and Tara, which works for the film because it's their story now. So I get that. The problem with this, we got to remember, this is the sixth movie in a 30-year-old franchise. Yeah. So we know what's going to happen. We've been there, we've done that. There's not many surprises. So these movies can either keep doing what they have always done, which is what the other five movies kind of did. Well, the other four sequels, I should say, or let's do something a little bit different. Let's try to change the formula a little bit. And I think they were successful in changing the formula a little bit. All I can say is that I think also that the positives, there are many more positives to this movie than negatives for me. There was just a couple of negatives, really. I mean, I think the biggest one is the idea of them really, with Chad and even with Mindy too, as far as them getting like stabbed and then they're back. Like one of them would have been fine, but one of them should have died. That was one of my biggest issues. But I'll get to some other stuff too. But we got to get to a couple of super chats here because we got a couple. Let's start off. Vale coming in with a $5 super chat. Thank you. We appreciate it. Saying my father is a serial killer. No matter what you think, I'm better than that. Chills. The head tilts are way too good and nuanced eye expressions. Okay.
Yes.
Yes.
I love Sam, dude. I
Sam
love
was
Sam.
the MVP.
Yes.
Sam was the
I like
MVP. I
Sam
don't know about you guys, but listen, and I had talked about this, and we all talked about this about Melissa and things in 5 and stuff like that. I'm so happy that she had this type of performance and her character got this type of treatment, and got to give her credit. If we can criticize her, we got to give her the credit, man. I think she was the MVP. I absolutely loved her in this movie, like leagues above what I did in 5. Really, really did. All right. Who are you gonna say, Jake?
I'm just gonna say, like, I saw the potential, like I remember watching In the Heights with Melissa Barrera before Scream 5 and just being like, oh man, like she's a phenomenal actress. I was like so pumped to see her in this movie. And I don't know, I like her 5 performance because she's like very subdued until the very end when she's just losing her mind on Richie. It's a slow burn effect it's I don't want to say it's out of place, but it's unexpected. It was unexpected to write a character like that in a Scream movie, and I've always appreciated it. I don't know, it's a slow burn and then just an explosion right there at the end, and I don't know. I've always seen potential in her, and I was just I don't know. I saw the full scope of that here in 6 too.
Right,
So
right.
it's awesome.
And I think it also makes 5 shine a little bit brighter in a way as far as her character.
Yes.
Their whole journey. Jim, what's up, man? $2 super chat saying super chats are working.
Awesome.
Yes, they
Thanks for the test.
Yeah, thank you.
This is only a test. We got a couple more coming in. We got Aubrey coming in, $5 super chat. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Saying what up? What if they did a new Nightmare type of movie for Scream and have Ghostface go after the original and new actors? Ooh, that'd be wow.
I'm so down for that. That would be fun, man.
Personally, I wouldn't want. I mean, that's kind of what Scream 3 was. I mean, the movie within a movie type thing. Yeah, you know what I mean? For one. And 2, I thought it fit like Nightmare on Elm Street beautifully, right? Like that was really great how they went about it. I just don't think you can get away with it in Scream because with the stab movies and stuff like that within it, like it's not the Scream. You like to us it's Scream, but you have the stab thing. Like you basically like erased everything. I wouldn't mind like not like a canon movie, but like maybe like a series or something, like a What If series or something like that would be cool. You could do something like bring everybody back, bring Matthew Lillard back, bring Skeet, bring Nev and everybody. Like literally have the original cast there. Bring Tatum back. You could have everybody and maybe do something like that, and then have one of them make Sydney the killer this time. Like that could where Nev Campbell's actually the killer. Like that could be kind of cool. And you could even run on a joke, be like, they cut me out of Scream 6, like type thing, like and that's like her motive. Like that could be fun, kind of like a scary movie Scream twist. But
it would just be all of them having fun, That's my thing about it. Like,
and I would watch that. I would love that. I would love like I wouldn't even mind if it was like a scary movie type film where it's just like almost like a horror comedy, and it's just like them kind of playing exaggerated versions of themselves. That would be cool.
New Nightmare is a killer movie too.
It is, man.
I've always loved that one. So any more, if we get any more New Nightmare themed things, I'm just there for that, man. That's right. It's a fun concept. I don't know.
Absolutely, no doubt about
it
that.
It would also be a nice little homage to Wes Craven, of course, who wrote the whole New Nightmare movie. That was his whole idea with New Nightmare. It came from him. So it'd be kind of a cool way to say, like, we're still recognizing Wes, but we're incorporating it into the Scream universe. So that would be, it could be a lot of fun. Yeah, totally.
Absolutely.
I wouldn't mind seeing it.
Absolutely. And we also have Carrie coming in with a $5 super chat. Thank you so much, Carrie Craves Cinema, saying, Scream 6 has its flaws, but the opening was spectacular. Character development was better. Also, Danny still seems sus to me for 7. Motive was meh. So how about the motive, guys? Let's Fate, let's go around starting with you. What do we think of the motive?
father.
I know. I know.
I was.
Why
not a
did they
fan
pay
of the motive.
Timothy? Why didn't they pay Timothy Oliphant to just walk in for one scene? Dude, come on.
He just walks
missed
by the
opportunity.
camera.
Father.
Richie's father.
That would have been great. Didn't see that coming. Like that would have been great.
Oh Jesus!
I mean, the motive for me,
siblings.
like the motive, I wasn't a fan of it at all. You know, I really disliked. I thought it was just really lazy. Like I loved having the family, you know, that kills together, stays together. That's beautiful. Love it.
Yeah.
You know, I love that they went the 3 killer route. Love that. But you could have done a million things, right? You established, like, you know, these crazed fans. Like you could even have done the Tony motive, where they just wanted to finish Richie's movie rather than are related to Richie. You know what I mean? Like,
That was a little bit of it, though. That was like a little bit of it, you know?
Yeah, because
I get it. Like, but I'm saying, like,
complete
it's
the
just,
shrine.
if they would have done I just thought it was lazy. Like, you really couldn't have thought of anything better than that. Like, that you guys sat around in the writer's room and all went, so what should we do for the motive? And somebody was like, hey, you should have a family that kills. Great idea. What's their motive? Oh, you should have them, you know, they're just obsessed with Scream. That's stupid, Jerry. Sit down. They're gonna be Richie's family. Like, you know, like
fucking
well, at
Jerry.
the end of the here's the thing though. At the end of the day, it's either gonna be, you know, a handful of things. It's gonna be jealousy. It's gonna be psychosis. It's gonna be revenge. It's gonna be love. It's gonna be infatuation. It's gonna, you know, ego. You know what I'm saying? So, I didn't think. Put it this way, I think that the way that the motive came off was better than 2.
Yes.
To me, it
Thank you,
better
Knight.
than 2. And to play fair, and yes,
the setup was way better.
The setup was better. I don't know if like
it was.
The motive was better than 2.
Well, yeah, it's the same motive, but yeah, the setup of the revenge and so forth, because you know you really got a sense of because, you know, and like you guys were saying too, you know, they wanted to complete the shrine, to complete, you know, his obsession and stuff. So they got a little deeper into
it was
that,
layered.
you know.
Yeah,
exactly. So you know, yes, it was probably the weakest aspect of the movie to me. But I did appreciate the setup for it. I didn't get out of my seat and leave the theater at that moment, you know, and I mean, guys, we had 3 Ghostface killers. We had 2
that's so cool
that were attacking at once, and we had a 4th one that was in the beginning of the film that revealed himself. I mean,
technically 5, because
technically 5, Greg,
or whatever.
Yeah.
I mean,
5 Ghostface killers. So
he was
we
shot up
had
in the freezer.
So we had multiple things that we'd always talked about. We had separate Ghostface killers, you know, were 2 different teams. We had a reveal in the beginning of the movie. We talked about that too. And a Ghostface kill in the beginning of the movie, which we talked about that too. Plus, technically, it's kind of like a cult of Ghostface. You know, they were trying to follow in Richie's footsteps. Let's finish his work and this. So we had a bunch of shit in this movie that we have literally talked about for friggin' months. So that's the reason why at the end of the movie with the motive, it was good setup. You know, same motive as 2, basically, but I was okay with it. And that's why, because as it was happening, I was thinking about everything leading up to this point and looking on the screen and seeing 3 Ghostface killers. There's a family of Ghostface killers. I was like, all right, I'm okay with this. I'm okay with this. What about you, Steven? What'd you think of the motive?
Yeah, I think, you know, I tend to lean with fate on this one. Only because is not only has it been done before in general, it's been done before specifically in this franchise. So this is, you know, I think I would have been happier if it would have been something new and different. And I think, you know, I think Fate hit it when he's like, of all the things you could do. And it wasn't because it was set up bad. I agree with you on the setup. I mean, I think, like, I don't have a problem with the motive itself. The problem I have is you're literally copying Wes and Kevin's ending. They just, and I predicted this, guys. You guys know not to try to harp on it in the past, but I remember telling you guys when they announced the sequel on this show, I said, guys, when they announced the hiring of Dermot, Josh, and Henry, all really close together. Remember, they were really, it was like within a week. And I said, uh-oh, that was, damn, all the bells went off. Check engine lights went off and said, okay, they are going to do a Debbie Salt 2.0. You guys know I've been talking about it for over a year. Debbie Salt 2.0. And I said, Jake, watch out, because it's going to be Dermot, Josh, or Henry is going to be one of them is going to be most likely Dermot or Henry would be the father figure, and they would just swap genders, and it would be father instead of mother. I didn't expect the siblings, but and again, in of itself, it's not bad. The problem is, why copy Wes and Kevin? That's all. I mean, yeah, sure, you can make an argument that it was done better, and I won't really die on that hill or anything against that. But my point is, why make something better when you can make something brand new completely, right? Like, just, that's all. It doesn't turn me off from watching the movie or liking it or anything, but I'm just thinking to myself, to be given the honor of being selected to write a Scream movie, and you're given a laptop and you go to work with your partner, it's just, to me, it's almost like I'd rather them swing and miss than play it safe and bunt. And they bunted. They bunted on the ending. And again, if Wes and Kevin hadn't done this in 2, I would view it completely differently, probably. But to me, it's like, okay, great. Maybe you're trying to fix some things how you would have done it, and that's fine. I don't know if that's how they think about it or not, but even if they did, that's fine. If you go ahead. You got the power, and they did it. But guys, imagine if we would have gotten something different. That's all. That wasn't a carbon copy of the second Wes Craven Scream, and this is the second Radio Silent Scream. I'm like, oh, come on now. Now, that mean in 7 we're going to be in? Are we going to Hollywood? All right. Are we going to? Or I don't know. I hope they wouldn't be on the nose. But we at least can ask the question now, because they did copy at least the motive in 6 from 2. So we'll see. I'm not going to beat them over the head over it. I just wish they would have demonstrated some more creativity, because we were all just commenting. Fate was Jake brag, and rightfully so, bragging on them for these new things that we've all been wanting to see, and I agree. Imagine if we could have added one more. An incredibly brave ending.
Here's how I like Craven. I totally agree with you, because like my thing is about this movie is it's so different. We should have had a different motive. You know what I mean? Like, the whole movie is just so. I think it's so different up until the end, where they do take on Scream 2 a bit, but. To me, it's I don't know, man. Like, listen, I love Wes Craven, easily one of the greatest directors of all time. Just in general, I would go even farther than horror director. He's just one of the greatest of all time, I think. Yeah. But Scream 2, 3, even 4, plagued with production issues. And I just think that if they would have taken more time and had better people on board the project, producer wise, I mean, that movie and motive and all that, I think it would have worked so much better. And I just feel like we finally got that here in 6. Like, we finally got the parent angle done really well. And it's not my favorite, like, family tie-in motive. Like, I think Jill in Scream 4 is easily my favorite, but I like that they took that same approach, and one did it differently, and two, in my opinion, I think they just did it better. Like, I just don't like how Mrs. Loomis feels like a sucker punch. Anyone can write in some random BS to happen right at the end of a movie just to have a twist. Like, this was layered and set up really nicely, and it was like, oh, that totally makes sense that it was Richie's family and all that, because we had all these little tiny things throughout the film. We had Detective Bailey saying, like, you kill one of my own, you die. And out of context, you don't really know what that means in the moment, but going back and watching it a second time, it's like, that means a lot more than you think. I also love that every time we get a Ghostface call, it's from Richie Kirsch from Her Contact. It's all set up very nicely, and I don't know, it's a killer script with, yes, maybe little tiny things here and there that don't work all that well. But I appreciated it, but I still do agree. Like, they should have had a different motive, but I appreciate what they did here at the end. And I think that I think Kevin Williamson probably really dug it, really liked that they were able to do that with just an idea that he had. I don't know. I think it's really cool. I really appreciate what they did with the ending here, but I do concur that they should have had a weirder something, something a little more to keep with the New York theme. It kind of the whole movie feels very focused up until that point. So I get why people have an issue with the third act. I get it, but I appreciate, like, as a huge Scream fan, I was just like, I see what you did there, and I really appreciate that. That's really interesting and cool. So I don't know.
Agreed.
I can't believe I'm the one defending this after a year of saying that if it was Richie's dad,
I know.
I'm gonna lose my mind.
It is literally Richie's father.
But it was more to it than that. It wasn't just, I'm Richie's dad. Oh, let me use my knife to kill you. No, it was so much more than that. Like, it was like, oh, well, he used to make all these movies and I maybe indulged it too much. There was so much more layers to it than just, I'm the parent of the character from the last movie.
Yep.
I don't know. I really appreciated how they were able to build upon that. And I was really impressed. Like, I hate the new Star Wars movies because they're just exactly that. Like, episode 7 is just episode 4 again, but with a bigger planet. That's not better. That's just, that's just quite literally bigger. They don't improve upon it. They don't add anything to the conversation. This movie added something to it, whether you hated, whether you loved it or hated it. This added something to the idea of the parent killer trope, and I thought that was really cool.
How did you guys feel about the killers themselves? Right.
Well, let me just throw something in here too, because we had a super chat question based upon that. Aubrey was saying, how can we believe that Quinn tossed Gail's boyfriend like that? And by the way, thank you, Aubrey, for the super chat.
Thank you so much.
Well,
you start.
You start off on that, Fate, and we'll go around.
Oh yeah. So first off, like, when you're talking about the killers, like, okay, so Quinn killed the boyfriend, but outside of that, who did Ethan and Quinn kill? I don't think they didn't kill anybody, because Mindy didn't die. So
that's actually a good question. Was Ethan the one during the ladder scene, or was that Detective Bailey?
It was Bailey, because remember he said I got there. He set up the Quinn thing. All he had to do was switch the body, and a grieving detective can get away with a lot, or whatever he says. So literally, Ethan and Quinn outside of the boyfriend, Gail's boyfriend, didn't kill anybody. Like,
almost Chad. Almost Chad.
That's what I'm saying. But they didn't kill Chad, and they didn't kill Mindy. And so I don't know, because Ethan didn't do anything, because Quinn was the one that did the stabbing to Mindy. Right? So she did the stabbing to Mindy, and she killed the boyfriend. So at least she has a kill under her belt. Ethan literally did nothing. The only thing that you could maybe tie into was the one, like, Chase Bodega or whatever, where he's like, when they're like, where were you? And he was like, I was in a class with 100 people. I don't think he would lie about that on the off chance that they're all suspicious. They're all suspicious of him. And don't you think that Chad or somebody would ask, hey, was he really in your class? Like, that would have been one of the first things. So I don't think he would have made that up on the off chance that they would have looked that up. So you're talking, like, literally, Ethan was completely pointless outside of just being the brother, and Quinn killed the boyfriend. That was it.
He kept the focus off of everybody else, though. I think, like, everyone, like, the whole movie, everyone's like, it's Ethan. Yeah, like, get your Ghostface ass away from me, Ghostface. It's like, I think he was there to keep everyone played a role, but I do agree it was a little lame that he didn't actually murder anybody. So
yeah.
What a
nerd. What a nerd.
Yeah, nerd. So that's what I'm saying. Like, so Ethan, like, I understand, like, Ethan was the decoy, I guess, but, like, outside of being the decoy, Quinn, okay, they killed her to make it, look like, so that way she would go
the spiral twist.
Yeah, that was the big spiral twist. And then you had, Dermot Mulroney, who in the first 10 minutes of that movie, it's him.
Yeah.
Immediately.
Yeah.
I mean, literally immediately, it's him. So it's like, I don't know. I felt that, Ghostface as a whole, I thought was great. The people under
Yeah.
the mask were a little underwhelming, in my opinion. I liked the 3 killer idea. I liked the family
Finally.
idea.
Yeah.
Yes,
Finally,
I liked Ghostface as a whole. You know, in all the scenes that we got with Ghostface, but yeah, the people under the mask were just really underwhelming to me. And I mean, every movie we get, like the whole toss around, like Charlie was able to toss around Olivia like she was a rag doll and she's bigger than he is. Like, you know, I mean, there's always something in that movie that just doesn't make sense. You know, we're just like, there's no way that they're strong enough. So, I mean, that's kind of like one of those movie logic things, which are frustrating. Believe me, I get it, but it's not something that, you know, that it'll make you go crazy if you dwell on that too much.
Oh, yeah.
But what about you, Jake? What are your thoughts?
I don't think I don't know. I don't think the boyfriend thing is that far fetched. I mean, all she had to do was slit the guy's throat. He died. Just kind of hold him there, and then she just pushes him through the bookcase. Like, I don't. This is the Amber Dewey thing all over again. Like, and I'm so not excited to talk about this all the time. But I don't know. I don't like. It's weird to me that people are so bothered by that, but they're fine with a guy running around in a Ghostface robe where you would easily trip over anything if you tried to jump over a couch. Like, no way could you do that. You know, like people don't care about that, but they care about this. I don't know. It's just such a weird thing to be super upset about, in my opinion. But I think it works. It's fine. It makes the scene more suspenseful once again. If this movie was like just completely based in reality, everything is 100% factual, it would be so boring. I promise you it would be so boring. Like, and I'm just not a fan of movies like that, I guess. I like when things are a little more heightened. So I don't know. When we start complaining about shit like that, it's like, well, let's just rip all the fun out of this scene, I guess. So I enjoyed it. I had a blast with it personally.
Yeah. It was. Again, it's kind of one of those things where I just accept. You have to just accept things. You know, I've gotten a little better at just, you know, and I never really let that stuff get to me. I mean, every once in a while, it'll get to me a little bit. You know, like you mentioned the whole Amber thing. That's one. That's one that one bugs me. But I try to like, you know, just take a step back and say, look, you know, this is a horror movie. This is not real, and you know, and like, you know, like the quote I always say all the time that Wes used to always say, you know, if I wanted to make movies about real life, I would make documentary films. So there is
great point.
You know, yeah,
and that's from the master.
That's from Wes Craven. Yeah, and you know, that's what he had a conversation with his prop master, and that was the discussion. So he gave him that quote, and so at the end of the day, this is fiction. It's imaginative. It's coming from the imagination of the writers and radio silence. So, you know, there's some liberties there that I'm going to extend them because we're stepping into their imaginative world, even though it is based a lot on reality, as we know. So anyway, I'm trying to be a little bit more suspension of disbelief, I guess I keep going back to, for that kind of stuff. So yeah, you know, like I said, we were joking around about how this Ghostface from the trailer doesn't look like a 17-year-old kid who weighs 100 pounds like Jack Champion. And of course, you know, Jack Champion's one of the people. And I'm like, oh, you know, but yeah, like I say, it wasn't entirely unexpected. At least this time, we do have Dermot Mulroney, who he's not. I mean, he doesn't look like he's fresh out of the SEAL team or anything, but at least he's got some training, right? You know, he's got some. He doesn't have knights, guns or anything like that, but he still has a gun and he's got training. And that bodega scene, which I think we all agree was Mulroney, right? I think we all agree on that.
Mm-hmm. It has to be, right?
It had to be.
Yeah, he was fantastic in that scene.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, overall, you know, I like the fact that Quinn was a fake out death. I thought that actually got me off guard. That was a fun moment when she jumped in at the end. I'm like, oh, okay. You know, it makes sense because he wouldn't kill his own daughter. Well, you never know. But, you know, the assumption was Quinn must have really died when I watched that scene because or looking back, she must have been dead. But no, she wasn't. So I like the fake out was cool. So I'm okay with it, guys. Literally, at the end of the day, I'm okay with it. Because I think that there's, it is what it is, and if we're gonna get too crazy with it, it's no longer a movie. We're trying to make it a documentary at that point of something.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. I mean, I agree with that too. I mean, again, I don't get too wrapped up in the actual Ghostface killers, underneath the robe and the mask and so forth. And again, like you said, Jake, anyone can sneak up on anyone and slit their throat, and they're done. But not only that, but here's the other thing too, guys, is that you have a different reaction when you're literally psychotic versus someone that could be scared in a moment being attacked. Like, you may think that you have a lot of wherewithal, but when you're freaked out, you really, all bets are off. So that's the thing, is like, if you can get the jump on someone, I don't care how big you are, you're not at your strongest. You just aren't. So unless you're trained, which none of these victims were. They're just regular people. They're not MMA fighters. So that's another thing too. We got to remember in these horror movies, these victims, like if the Ghostface killer was attacking someone like who is like whatever, this big burly person like Conor McGregor, right? Like, okay, Conor is going to be able to handle that moment, with the whole fight or flight. But so that's why I don't really get wrapped up in that too much. And you're supposed to suspend disbelief anyway. So
we need a John Jones Ghostface movie.
Exactly.
John Jones just comes in and is just roundhouse kicking out the Ghostface. Let's do it. I'm with
I know.
Real quick
too. What was that?
I was just gonna say real quick. It reminds me, Night, of that statement that I heard a long time ago, and I think it's really bears repeating. And it's that we arm Monday morning quarterback these movies coming from a very logical, reasonable state of mind. But what we got to realize is that fear and adrenaline leave little room for logic. And when you're in a spot where your adrenaline and your fear meters are peaking, hold on. Sorry about that. Whenever your adrenaline meter and your fear meter is tapping over to bleeding out and bleeding over, there's very little room for logical thinking to sink in. You are literally rolling off of the moment adrenaline and being shocked, surprised, making dumb decisions, running upstairs. We should be running out the front door. Sydney said, all that stuff is out the door when you're in that situation filled with adrenaline and fear. You're not logically thinking like the four of us are, where we're in a relaxed state.
And Craven, like you said, like she literally, like after saying that, she runs up the stairs and hides in her room. Why didn't she go out the front door? I mean, your spot, like, I don't know. If I think if you're someone who just like, you can't get over that, you're like, man, just the logic in that scene makes maybe slasher movies aren't your thing. I don't know. I've seen way worse in other slasher movies, and it's always crazy when a big studio movie comes out and you get people coming out of the woodwork saying like, well, there's 100 things wrong with this movie, and here's all of them. It's like, you just really don't want to have fun with movies, huh? I don't know, man.
Yeah. Sometimes you just want to sit down and go with the story. Just enjoy what's there.
Well, yeah, that's true too. I mean, at the end of the day, it's a horror movie, and a slasher horror movie at that. Which no shade, because I absolutely love the slasher subgenre. I've watched, I don't even know how many slasher horror movies over all the years of my life, but no, but I think that, with slasher movies, you do have to have a different level that you suspend as far as your disbelief. And okay, well, the killer could do this, or especially if it's a mystery, you know what I mean? Well, how fast could the killer have done this and then come back to make it look like they're innocent? All that type of stuff goes into play. And if you try to base it on reality, like if you did an experiment, a life experiment, you try to recreate it, it probably wouldn't work very well. Just like you said, Jake, if you run in that Ghostface costume, you're probably going to trip up. you're not gonna be able to attack as cleanly. I mean, you had a robe on for your movie, so I'm pretty sure it was
I
cumbersome.
tripped so many times. Like I fell on my face at least 3 times during the production of that. Like no one would get that perfect. Like no one would. It's
They were practicing before they were running miles. The
Stretching.
They go out to like the rec center in a Ghostface robe and they're just like running, you know. Like that was like, you know, if you have a problem with all these things, then you must have a problem with that, you know. Like that's my thing about it. It's fun. It's like, oh my god, you know, just have a good time with this.
I mean, there's always gonna be the flaws in it. What do you?
Hold on, because we got multiple super chats.
Yes, we do.
We gotta run through these.
I am so sorry, dude, but I gotta leave a little early today because old Jake is seeing 65 tonight.
Ooh,
well,
hey man.
Real quick, we don't have to like talk about the whole thing, but I wanted to. Did you guys notice? Blucka, shout out to Blucka. Blucka is the one that pointed this out to me, which I thought was really cool. You guys, so in the opening scene, Samara Weaving's character. You know, she was a homage to something. Do you guys know what that homage was to?
No,
Sydney.
what?
Laura, Sydney's mother. Or not Sydney's mother, Sydney's name when in Scream 3.
Oh, yeah.
In Scream 3.
All over the phone.
I don't know why I said mother. I meant her. I was thinking of the image with her mother. Where she
Right.
That's why it came to my mind. No, that was her fake name in Scream 3. That was the connection. That was the tie-in. So
cool.
Samara Weaving's character was named Laura, which is Sydney's accomplice. So shout out to Blucka for that little gem. I didn't even notice that. I didn't catch it. It completely went over.
And Crane. Crane.
Horror movie last name.
There you go. It was a lot. Danny Brackett. I mean, come on.
All of it,
Danny
they had a bunch of really nice homages. But I thought that was really cool. I haven't seen anybody mention that or anything like that. I thought that was really cool.
Dude, there's so many little Easter eggs like that.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry. Now I got a one little one. I'm sorry. I'm gonna get out of here after this. Did you notice Ethan is wearing the costume? Have you ever seen the movie Murder Party?
No, I haven't seen it.
have, but it's been a long time.
Ethan is wearing the costume that the main character is wearing at the party. That is such an obscure reference. I'm like, no way are they referencing that weird ass movie. Like that was so cool to me.
And he wore flannel.
And he wore flannel, yeah.
Yep.
Yes, he did.
I have seen this movie, but it's been a long time,
Yeah, it's wild. If you've never seen it, I recommend it. So, all right, everybody, I got to get going, but it's been a blast talking Scream 6 with y'all.
Yes,
absolutely.
See you later, Jake.
All right, catch you later.
Peace.
All right, guys. We are gonna go through. We've got some super chats coming in, and we're gonna run through these because we are gonna be winding down. Hollywood guy coming in with $5 super chat. Thank you so much. We appreciate that. Saying hello, peeps. So Richie was the focus of the revenge. I don't know about that. The movie was okay, but it could be better. And Mindy was annoying. Okay, all right. I didn't mind Mindy in this. I
I mean, I get she has some annoying moments in general. But that's the point of her character, right? It's to
she's the opposite of
the top.
Yeah, and she's different than Chad. You know, I think it differentiates them as twins. That's how I look at it. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Carrie coming in with a $2 super chat saying the motive does tie in 5 and 6, and I do like that, to be honest. Yeah. I mean, we were talking about that. I think it definitely makes 5 shine a little brighter, and I can't wait to watch them back to back, to be honest with you. Jennifer, thank you so much for your super chat as well. Saying my exact words coming out of the theater to my family was, Jake is gonna be so mad. I know, and look, he's so hyped and happy. That's great. Who would have thought?
I know.
Oh my god, I know.
It's funny because Jake told me that that after he saw the movie, he thought I wouldn't like the movie.
Okay, all right.
Which I did like the movie. Like I said, it just had my issues.
Yeah. Chrissy coming in as well. Thank you for the super chat. Saying all this talk about motive, and my favorite part in the whole movie was the Ghostface call to Gail. Can you hold for a second? Huh? I know that was a good. That was a great scene with Gail.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, she really didn't have much to do in the movie, but wow, that was a great call and attack, and mini chase. I really enjoyed that scene. Carrie also coming in again. Thank you, Carrie. Saying, "Oh no, just a thought. What about Richie's mom? Oh no, Jake, your dream might come true in 7." Just kidding. I hope not. Let's get fresher.
Oh,
I agree.
if something like that happens, I'm gonna lose my mind.
Right? Oh my
What if it's
god.
Richie's mom and Hank Loomis?
Oh my god.
Billy's dad and Richie's mom.
Jeez. Oh my god.
They're together now.
Right? Lindsay coming in with a $5 super chat. Thank you so much. Saying no more Stew Train. They stated he did die in 96, according to the board of killers. They zoomed in on him on purpose.
It's not the only thing. They confirmed him on several occasions in that movie. And Tyler Gillette and Vanderbilt, they confirmed in an interview, I believe that came out today, that Stu is dead. That they had scenes purposely for that. So Stu is dead. They confirmed it. You got it from the writers. You got it from Radio Silence. He's a goner. And they confirmed it on 3 occasions in the movie. So, yeah, Stew Train.
Don't worry. The Stew Train is alive and well. It's
fantastic.
So,
the refrigerators are still working on the train.
Everything's freshly, clean and dusted and ready. So,
oh, my God.
I'll just say it like this. If you're on the Stew Train and been on the Stew Train, nothing has changed. This movie has changed nothing. It's exactly what I would expect to hear. And so keep the faith. Don't let anybody douse it out. If you're not on the Stew Train, you don't. I'm not begging anybody to join the Stew Train. I'm just trying to help you out. So when it happens, you're ahead of the game. But yeah, no, I mean, I just, you guys all know Fate and I probably are as far apart on this subject as well as anyone could ever be, but that's okay. I respect Fate's view on it, and I know he respects mine as well, and it's all good. But yeah, nothing good. Nothing in this movie from my perspective, just my perspective, changed anything. So, yep, we'll see what happens. Right. We'll see. One day we'll see.
All right. Jacob coming in also, $5 super chat saying, which would you guys accept it more, Mindy dying on the subway in public with no help, or Chad dying at the end by 2 ghost faces? Scream 7 should have 2 ghost faces. I think Chad should have died. We already kind of talked about that a little bit. Yep. Chad should have died. And it was the way it was set up. It hit harder. Plus, because of his blossoming relationship with Tara, so Chad should have died. I enjoyed him in the movie, but I'm just saying the way that it was set up and him getting attacked by 2 like he was, they should have let him die. But what are you gonna do?
I agree.
What are you gonna do? And yes, the next one definitely. We gotta have at least 2. I think the next one should go for another 3. To be honest with you, I really do. Mastermind coming in with a $5 super chat saying, "Stop the insanity. Screamverse is not reality based. Scream 1 set suspended disbelief. Scream 6 motive bigger because it shows the ease of victimizing the victim." Okay, all right. And we've got a ranking. Thank you for the super chat, by the way, Mastermind.
Yes, thank you.
Also, appreciate it.
And also giving a ranking. Okay, 6 is equal to 1. Then we got 4, 3, 5, 2. Scream 6 breaks new ground. It definitely did. I mean, it's obviously just the formula. They changed the formula, and I'm okay with that. I mean, it still felt like a Scream movie, but it was just different. If that makes any sense. It was different. All right, guys. Well, I think we're going to get ready to close that out here. So for you guys in the live chat, thanks for hanging out with us. We really, really appreciate it. This obviously is not the end of the conversations, but leave us comments in the comment section. Let us know more of your thoughts. You guys are having a hell of a conversation here. This is crazy, but we appreciate it. And also, don't forget to hit the like button. It helps support us, and we would appreciate that as well. All right, guys. Well, hey, good one, gentlemen.
Yeah.
All right.
Pleasure. Hey, Night, what do you got going on tonight, man? You doing this Slasher Movie Club, or what's going on tonight?
Actually, not tonight. I had to change my schedule, but tomorrow night, and I think I had told you about it. We're gonna do some Scream talk, and it's definitely gonna be a cool conversation. We'll have a bunch of people jumping on, and yeah, you know, there's a lot to talk about. The Easter eggs alone, like we said today, it's crazy, man. It's absolutely crazy.
Nice.
So, all right,
Beautiful.
okay, guys. Well, hey, we will catch the rest of you guys later. Take it easy. The collective has spoken. Peace.
Bye, guys.